Hi, welcome to the Alchemist Show. This is a student-produced radio show by the digital media class at the Perryville Area Career Technology Center. We have 4 people on the mic today. I'm Bennett Turner.
And I'm Robert Gaddis.
I'm Eric Weibrecht.
And I'm Caleb Comte.
Today we're going to talk about some video games. So Eric has some video game that he wants to talk to you about.
Overwatch is a first-person shooter game with 24 playable characters, all with different abilities and strategies on how they play and the way they are controlled. Abilities ranging from hacking your enemies, to shooting an arrow that puts out dragons that goes through walls, to jumping out of a mech suit and it self-destructs. There are so many different things you can do in this game, ranging from also playing game modes like 3v3 elimination and capture the point. And on top of playing that game, you can also go from the harder things in the game, and they are called cute sprays. They are funny looking sprays that you spray on the walls for others to see. They are pretty difficult to get if I do say so myself.
So I don't really know much about shooter games, but Overwatch definitely sounds something that's completely different than other shooter games.
It is, especially with you can't exactly aim down sights with most of the characters, so you're just shooting from the hip.
Do games like Call of Duty, do they have sort of different characters you can pick as well?
Not exactly different characters, but all you can mainly do is just change your weapon.
It almost sounds like a combination of a shooting game and a fighting game, because, you know, fighting games have all those different characters you can choose from.
And I can see where you can get that from.
But, I mean, there's no fighting at all in the game. It's mostly just shooting.
Yeah.
But is the Battlefield game, is that first-person shooter too?
Yes.
Because when you were talking about Overwatch and the mech suits, that kind of reminded me of Battlefield, because isn't Battlefield, do they incorporate mech suits in that at all, or not?
No, you're probably thinking of the game Titanfall.
Oh, yep, that's it. Does Overwatch have any similarities with Titanfall?
Not really at all.
So you think Overwatch is probably a really original FPS that's come out
pretty well.
recently? That's pretty nice. Any of you guys have any thoughts on Overwatch?
No, not that I can think of.
No.
So, Caleb, have you played the game before?
No, but I really want to. I've heard it's really good.
It's interesting?
I kind of want to as well sometime.
I've seen footage of it, but I've never played it myself. But that was Overwatch. So I have a couple of games I want to talk about. These are some new games. One game I want to talk about has been released recently, and another one has been set to release soon. So this first game I want to talk about is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I talked a bit about it on last week's podcast, but this game, tons of praise has been given to it. It was released on March 3rd along with the Switch, and I'm really excited about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild because unlike most Zelda games, which are usually just point A to point B, every level is the same, but with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's a really open world environment. What's really cool about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is that you have the ability to play dungeons in any order, which is really strange. So if I really wanted to, I could start the game and then go straight to the final boss and try to beat it, which that'd be impossible because I haven't, gotten any experience, but another cool thing about Legend of Zelda is that it has voice acting, which all the other games haven't had that since in the Zelda series. But even though there are some major frame rate issues in Breath of the Wild, it's been widely well received, as I said before. Some journalists say maybe the best Zelda game, and others say maybe one of the best games of all time. So do you guys think that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild would be one of the best games of all time?
Probably so, yeah. It would be.
It's got its possibilities.
Have you guys seen footage of it?
No.
No, not really.
No?
A little bit.
All right, well, I'll just go ahead and talk about my second game then. My other game is called Tokaiden 2, which usually I'm a really big fan of the Nintendo franchise. I've been really wanting to branch out, but I don't have any money, so I can't, but a man can dream. Tokaiden has been a series on the PlayStation sort of line. More specifically, its handheld lines, the PlayStation Portable and Vita. The original Tokaiden game came out a couple of years back, and basically what the Tokaiden series is, it's a monster hunting game set in a fantasy world with medieval Japanese themes. And you know how in similar RPG games you can change your stats? Well, as I said earlier about the Japanese sort of medieval themes, there's something called Mitama, which basically serves as achieving stats once you defeat and collect monsters. And it was one of the best-selling games on the PS Vita, and even though the PS Vita didn't do too well compared to the 3DS, it was one of the best-selling games on it, so that was pretty cool. And Tokaiden 2 will be releasing on PS4 and PS Vita on the 21st, and there is going to be a demo coming out tomorrow, so that's pretty exciting. If you guys know about the monster hunting games for 3DS, then Tokaiden is pretty similar to that. What are you guys thinking about Tokaiden 2?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it?
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
I've seen it before, like a couple times on the internet, but
Not that many people have heard of the game, I'm surprised, but it seems like
Probably
Yeah.
not as popular.
the monster hunting scene of games isn't really that big. It's sort of a spin-off from RPGs, so I can see why not that many people know about it, but it's a game I'm interested in, and if I ever decide to get a PS4 in my life, I'll probably get that game. So, Robert, you got any games you want to talk about?
Oh yes, I do. There's a game coming out on the 28th, and it's the Major League Baseball game, the 2017 version of the game. It's coming out on the 28th of this month, and it will be available on PS4, the gaming system, and Sony will be producing it, which they've done the last couple of years on the game. They've done it a couple of years, I think since like 2012, I believe, or so, and I hope it has some big-time ratings to the game, and it's going to be probably a big hit in the world of gaming, and it will let you take a look at some of their classic moments in the world of Major League Baseball. And anybody like the sound of that game?
It sounds interesting. I'm not really too, I don't keep too much in touch with the sort of sports games. Have you played any of sports games before this one?
I played the golf games and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
The PGA Tour golf games and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you excited about with this new game that's coming out soon?
Well, you get to play any team you want and
That's pretty cool.
play any team you want, and I think I even heard that you can customize your own baseball player too as well.
That's pretty cool, because I know about these sports games, obviously, they're trying to stay true to the sport, but when it comes to that, they're also big on graphics, trying to make it like you're actually watching a baseball game in a way, so that's something to be excited about. Sports games always are pretty leading in graphics. And what about you, Caleb? Got any games for us today?
yes, I got a game called The Walking Dead: A New Frontier. It's published and developed by Telltale Games. It's the third one in the season. The ratings are 8.8 out of 10 from IGN, and 8 out of 10 from Trusted Reviews, and 9 out of 10 from GameSpot, and more. It's a third-person adventure, story-driven game with an interactive world, decision-based options all the time. You choose how things go, and the game adapts to your decisions. It takes place in an Irish town of Prescott, and yes, of course, zombies and the people have no knowledge of what time it is or year.
That sounds pretty cool. I've seen a couple of the Walking Dead games. I haven't played any, but I've seen footage, and it sounds interesting. I've seen a lot of adventure games that sort of every decision you make impacts your future in a different way.
Yeah.
What is this game bringing to the table compared to the other games? You know
So
anything about it, or is it just shrouded in mystery?
I know a little bit about it. It's really story driven. I mean, the second one was really, there was a lot of big moments in it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to play it for yourself to actually truly feel the game, but
Yeah.
I don't really know much about the third one besides that it continues from the second.
I assume that the Walking Dead game is, connected to the Walking Dead TV show, right?
It's connected to the comic book.
Oh, the comic book. I didn't even know there was a Walking Dead comic book.
Yeah, where do you think they're coming up with all the ideas for the show?
That's a good question. I just always thought it was a TV show. We're getting a bit off topic here, but
Yeah.
any last words, you guys? Any other games you want to talk about?
No, not that I can think
Buy
of.
it.
I can...
What out of all these games we talked about, which ones are you most excited for? Or which ones are you most excited to play? Well, I, for one, I'm excited for Overwatch. That sounds like a really cool game that I haven't had a chance to play yet. And then, obviously, Breath of the Wild, everyone's going crazy about that one. So,
Even though I love The Walking Dead more than anything, just a little bit more of me wants to play Overwatch more than The Walking Dead.
Nice. Eric's just like
Just
pumping.
just because you can actually play Overwatch a lot longer than The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Well, that's about all we have about the topic of video games. Alchemist Show will be right back after this important message.
Takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, I had one thing on my mind. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball every chance I could. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn the signs of a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. I'm Paul George. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke, F-A-S-T. Fast. Life is why. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hi, the Alchemist Show is back with another discussion topic. This time it is on old to new cars. On mic this time is...
Caleb Comte. I'm here to talk to you about the new versus old Challenger. The Challenger was first introduced in 1970 as a sister car to the Plymouth Barracuda with TA, was only available with the 340 CUIN 6-pack engine. The front clip is one whole piece instead of multiple pieces, and also the newer Challengers are more taller and square. And personally, I love the newer ones more just because of the body style and just how they have more power.
Since we're on the topic of comparing new cars to older cars, I thought I'd bring up the difference between the 1960s Mustang to the new 2017 Mustang. The changes to the style of these vehicles have changed enormously. The older style has more look saying, I'm a muscle car, when the newer one has more the luxury look than a car you would see racing. Like, the difference is the newer car style has more of the style of you would see someone with a lot of money having, not just a normal citizen driving around, just a normal Saturday evening driving around in their car. You wouldn't just see them driving around in the 017 Mustang
So is this more of a car that people in Dubai wearing golden watches would drive?
Yes.
Probably one of those one of those fancy people that wear those suits or whatever. Those would be the type of people that would ride.
Also, the 1970 Challenger was actually introduced also as a competition against the Mustang.
Oh, nice.
Ford Mustang, I think Chevy Camaro.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Robert?
We're gonna be comparing new versus the old Camaro, and I prefer the old ones simply because they have a better make in them, and they're more they don't change in their lifetime, and the new ones just don't seem to fit me as much because of how they're fit, and they're not as good as the old ones. The old ones are much better because they have better tires to them, and their color is a really good make, and simply everything about it is good.
I've seen this with a lot of cars or just things in general. The older version has been better because back then, they would use thicker metals, and now they're trying to conserve or put more out there, so they're using less and less metal. So usually a lot of the times, older brands of things are better. But the car I want to talk about, you guys may have your sports car, but I have the people's car. Well, the Volkswagen, because get it, Volkswagen is driven for the people's car. Anyway, I don't know much about cars, but my mom does. My mom loves Volkswagen cars more than anything, and my mom has owned a 1980 Volkswagen for a really long time. Unfortunately, she had to sell it recently. Well, I mean, it's been a really long time because she had it till like the 2010s. Don't look at me like that, Eric. But we had to sell it recently because the engine froze up, and we just do not have enough money to fix it. It was awful. I hated selling it, but we've had that thing for a long time. So I know a little bit about Volkswagen, and I would go with my mom a lot to get it repaired because Volkswagen cars back then were not in very well of a condition. So we'd go to the mechanic, and the mechanic would tell us these stories. And I thought the old Volkswagens were bad, but apparently the new ones are worse, because I remember hearing a conversation with the mechanic and my mom saying that, the old Volkswagens are way better than the new ones because if something bad happens to the old one, you can just fix it and it's fine. But with these new cars, these new Volkswagens, if one thing's broken and you take it to your local mechanic and he fixes it, then another thing breaks, and then he has to fix that, and another thing breaks. So it's rigged. So that I think that's just him either being a bad mechanic or a conspiracy theorist, but every single time the mechanic would fix something, something else would break, and the only way you could fix it is if you took it to the actual dealer, and you'd have to pay buckets of money to fix it. So that seems kind of scandalous there, which I kind of believe it, because Volkswagen, it was made on scandal. It had a scandal 2 years ago. I mean, don't even get me started on the diesel emission scandal that happened in 2015. I have something to talk about that if you want to, if you don't know much about the Volkswagen scandal. 2 years ago, all these big car companies have to go through tests so that they're not shoveling out buckets of diesel fuel into the ozone layer so that we don't constantly breathe in diesel and die. So we were, or the company was getting their tests run, but it turns out that they might have been caught cheating on the air pollution tests. And I don't know about your guys' cars. I mean, are they usually good on pollution and all that?
Yeah, mine actually doesn't produce much smoke at all.
Did you bring up the fact about your old car, how it runs on like 8 to 10 miles per gallon?
Depends on what motor or what engine you have.
Oh, that's awful. I mean, how many miles is it to get to Cape Girardeau from here?
About 30 or so, I think, yeah.
So you'd have to have 3 gallons of gas to get from one town to another.
Probably, yeah.
But I don't think that Volkswagen is that bad on miles per gallon, because since Volkswagen is such a small car, it has a good gas mileage, but pollution is a different story. So Volkswagen was caught cheating on their air pollution tests. Apparently Volkswagen installed sophisticated software known as defeat devices in their diesel vehicles between 2008 and 2015. So basically these defeat devices, they would activate when it sensed that the cars are being tested on, so it would release less pollution. But then, when they're actually on the road, it would release 10 to 40 times the legal amount.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
Can't stop thinking about it.
they're in a bit of trouble. and they're going to have to shell out 18 billion cars. I think it was about 1,000 to 2,000 per vehicle they sold in that time. So they've obviously had a bit of controversy before. So I can believe it if you take your new Volkswagen to a mechanic, everything breaks down unless you take it to the dealer. It seems pretty shady. Right? He's probably just a bad mechanic. But needless to say, I prefer the old Volkswagens because you can actually fix them, and also just they're prettier, in my opinion. That's about all I have to say.
I think that's all that we have for this topic. The Alchemist Show will be right back after this important message.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool, and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I feel like if I didn't have anyone to push me, I wouldn't have even bothered to do it. I got one milestone down the drain, and now I got to work on the next. I see the future is really bright for me. I feel like it doesn't matter the age, as long as you go back and get it done. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
No one gets a diploma alone. You have more support than you realize. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds.
Most of my
Bike
family,
ride, go fish,
they never
walk in the park,
graduated high
phone
school
call,
or even let
milkshake,
alone.
play catch, picnic,
Most of my-
fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper cars, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, The Alchemist Show is back with another discussion topic. This time it is on 80s rock bands. Unlike this time is Isaac Wallers,
Becca Allen,
Brandy,
and Brendan Bleckley.
And let's first off talk about Queen, the band that set the standard for rock in their time. Forming in 1971, the band took off to immediate popularity with their first album, Queen, released in 1973. Releasing their new album, A Night at the Opera, in 1975, the single Bohemian Rhapsody was born and was named the best single of all time. The success of A Night at the Opera was equally shocking, giving the band their first platinum album. Many other popular songs from the rock band Queen included We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, Another One Bites the Dust, Radio Gaga, I Want to Break Free, and the already mentioned Bohemian Rhapsody, which also became an instantly recognizable song in any media. Queen was mostly active around the late 70s and through the 80s, becoming rock star legends. However, on the 23rd of November 1991, the lead singer Freddie Mercury announced that he had AIDS, and the next day, he peacefully died at his home, surrounded by family and friends. In 1992, Freddie was awarded Outstanding Contribution to British Music, and on April 20th, many top stars of the time joined the other band members on stage at Wembley for an emotional tribute to Freddie, who was named the greatest rock legend of all time, beating Elvis Presley, David Bowie, Bon Jovi, Jimi Hendrix, and Ozzy Osbourne. What do you guys think about that?
The best? Wow.
That's crazy.
Mind blown.
What are you guys' thoughts and opinions about the Queen band?
I actually think that they are a pretty good 80s band. That's what I'm getting.
Everybody loves Queen.
I honestly
Definitely.
don't listen to them.
If you had to name like maybe one or two of your favorite songs from the band, just name them.
We Are the Champions.
That one and Bohemian Rhapsody.
Definitely a favorite of mine.
Yes.
All right, we got Becca up next with her 80s rock band. What's yours?
My 80s rock band is Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Joan Marie Larkin, famously known as Joan Jett, is the lead singer of the rock band Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. The band formed in 1979 in Los Angeles. Their genres are rock, hard rock, and punk rock. The band's #1 single, I Love Rock and Roll, became the U.S. Billboard's Hot 100 #1 single for 7 weeks in a row. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts are still together today and have already started touring in 2017. Do any of you guys like Joan Jett and the Blackhearts?
I honestly have never heard of that group.
Well, haven't you heard the song I Love Rock and Roll?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I heard that song.
Oh, that's the band?
Yeah,
oh.
that band.
Well, I guess I know the band now.
That song, like, that's like the only song that I heard from them, like nothing else.
To be honest, once I first heard that name, it reminded me of like this old 80's TV show, Jim and the Holograms. That's what it sounds like. And a pure 80's like rock band.
Brandy, you have a band you want to talk about?
Yeah, Poison. They started up as a band in 1983 and is still going. Poison's biggest hit is Nothing But a Good Time from the album Open Up and Say Ah, which was released May 3rd, 1988. My two favorite songs by Poison is Fallen Angel, which was released in 1988. Also, my other one is Every Rose Has Its Thorn, and that hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, I think, in 1988. The lead singer of Poison is Bret Michaels, who is 54 years old. Poison has sold over 50 million records worldwide and 15 million records just in the U.S.
Are they still continuing today?
Yes, they are.
That many
Nice,
albums?
Nice.
Yep.
Wow.
54 and still going strong. I support this man.
Wow. Talk about a strong group that's still going.
Mhm.
Very popular too.
Yeah.
What were some of their popular songs? Like,
Well, there's
Literally the only song I know by them is Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's Talking Dirty to Me. I can't think of any right now.
Surprisingly, I have heard of Poison, but the sad part is I don't think I've heard a single song from them.
this is more sad. I've never even heard of this band or maybe even some of their songs.
Oh.
You've never heard of Bret
I'm sorry.
Michaels?
Huh?
You've never heard of Bret Michaels?
No, I have not. I'm sorry.
Neither have
I'm so
I.
sorry.
Me too.
I've done like
I'm
a
sorry.
disservice to the public
He
or
went
something.
from like, I think it was country to rock or rock to country.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what about you, Brendan?
Well, first off, have any of you heard of Def Leppard?
Of course.
Yep.
Maybe not. No, I'm just kidding. I know the group.
All
I know
right.
at least that
I
one.
thought you was kidding. All right. Well, I heard about Def Leppard, and I only heard one song that I liked very much about him, and which was Hysteria. That was like the best song that I've heard from them.
I
Believe
know
it or not.
Desperado.
Desperado.
I think that was by them. Pretty
Oh
sure.
boy, awkward. I never heard of that. But either way, they're still going today, and their current members right now are the lead singer Joe Elliott, Rick Savage, Rick Allen, Phil Collen, and Vivian Campbell. Def Leppard had three former members of the band. They are Tony Kenning, Pete Willis, and Steve Clark, each with a history of no longer being members of the band. That's right, a history. Starting with Tony Kenning, he was a British percussionist in the original line of Def Leppard. However, he only stayed in the band for only a year, from November of 1977 to the following year, 1978. Believe it or not, he was the one that suggested to change the band's name from like Def Leppard, like deaf, like can't hear, and like an actual animal leopard.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what their original name was, and he changed it to the band name that they have right now. Believe it or not, he also had a nickname, which was named Ruben.
Oh, nice.
That was his nickname.
Yeah, literally. If I brought my little brother in here, he is the best like Def Leppard fan ever. He basically has a CD and just like
Would he sing?
takes over my Queen CD and just
Would he just sing like all day?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's
Oh.
embarrassing to watch though.
What do you mean embarrassing?
I mean, this guy's obsessed with Def Leppard. I mean, you only know one song from them, don't you?
Yes, I said that. Yes, I only know one song.
Okay, I think this is all we have for this topic today. The Alchemist Show will be right back after this important message.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cold time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the...
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. This cat makes me make art. He's always motivating me to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. He's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Keyboard Cat, YouTube star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Start yours today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Alchemist Show. Today our topic will be movies coming out this 2017. I will talk first. The Mummy coming out this summer is basically a reboot of the 1999 Brendan Fraser Mummy movie, while that one was the reboot of the classic Mummy film back in 1932. This reboot follows everyone's favorite athletic archaeologist, Tom Cruise, on a quest to dig up an ancient princess from Egypt. Everything goes wrong when she is awakened from her tomb and brings destruction in her path, forcing Tom Cruise and the other scientists running for the hills. Directed by Alex Kurtzman, the cast includes Sophia Boutella, Annabelle Wallis, and Russell Crowe. All right, guys, on your basic opinion of Tom Cruise, what do you think of him as a actor?
I think I've heard of him.
I like most of his movies.
Have you guys maybe seen Mission Impossible, those movies?
I've actually never seen any of those.
I don't think I've ever watched any movies from him.
Uncultured, sorry. Sorry. Brendan, do you have a movie you look forward to coming up?
Yeah, actually I do. First off, is anybody here familiar with Despicable Me?
Yes.
Oh yeah, those annoying minions everywhere.
Banana.
Yep. Well, believe it or not, they have a new movie coming out this summer. Their movie will be named Despicable Me 3, featuring the famous cast of Nev Sharel as Agnes, Dana Geyer as Edith, Miranda Cosgrove as Margot, Kristen Wiig as Lucy Wilde, and last but not least is the one and only Steve Carell, who will be actually playing as two characters in the movie. One we all know is Gru, the grumpy villain who is now a father to three kids.
Who has skinny legs.
Yep. And believe it or not, his other character that he'll be playing is named Drew, who appears to be Gru's long-lost opposite brother of Gru.
What? Oh, that's how they're going to continue it. Just a long-lost brother. How convenient.
Yep.
So there's going to be a good Gru and a bad Gru?
I guess you could say something like that, yeah. And the plot goes out like this, folks. Gru faces off against Balthazar Bratt, a former child star who has grown up to become obsessed with a character that he played in the 80's. Gru also gets into some sibling rivalry, in which I just said, when he meets his long-lost, charming, cheerful, and more successive brother Drew, who teams up with him one last time to do a crime and steal a diamond Bratt has stolen. Its release date will be in June 30th.
Okay,
what do you all think of that?
The next next movie we're going to talk about is Pitch Perfect 3. It's an upcoming movie released on December 22nd, 2017. The movie stars Anna Kendrick as Becca, Brittany Snow as Chloe, Rebel Wilson as Fat Amy, and Haley Steinfeld as Emily. With many more castmates and even Ruby Rose, this third installment is the
This is the third installment in the franchise, and we can't wait to see what Pitch Perfect 3 has to bring us. I think Pitch Perfect is a great movie.
What a way to interrupt Brendan. How dare you
I'm
guys?
sorry. What do you mean?
Despicable Me 3, come on now.
Okay,
It's gotta
well,
be more
Pitch
entertaining than
Perfect
Pitch Perfect 3.
Is amazing, and I would pick Pitch Perfect over Despicable Me.
I'm
any day.
terribly sorry, but
What?
I don't think I've heard of that movie.
Oh, you are in good hands then. You have the best luck ever.
I never heard of it. Sorry.
I was forced to
You
watch those
sing
Pitch Perfect
literally
movies.
every day, and you haven't seen Pitch Perfect.
No. I didn't even watch their first movie.
I mean, they're just, in my opinion, glorified chick flicks. I mean, seriously, I was forced to watch
Chick flick.
a bunch of girls singing in front of an audience so that they can win an award. Come on now, that's
It is
basically.
not a chick flick.
If there are like what 7 to 8 chicks in one film, yes, it's a chick flick.
They have guy singers there.
Oh, that's-
There is a guy group.
Yeah, there is many guy groups. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I think that is all we have for this topic today, and that is all for today's show. Join us next time on The Alchemist Show. Thanks for listening.
Bring on